What's going on, guys? Tyler here, and today is a big day because Elementor 2.10 beta has dropped, and it is actually a pretty big update. Some new features coming to the forms, as well as some other like animation features. So specifically in this video, I'm going to be talking about those new updates to the forms and how you can start creating multi-step forms. All right, let's jump into the video. So before we get into it, I do want to say if you're considering upgrading to Elementor Pro, you can go ahead and check the links out down below in the description, and that's how you can go ahead and upgrade to this amazing Elementor Pro plugin. So it is an absolutely amazing plugin. I love using it. I use it all the time. And with this new update, I'm going to even start using multi-step forms. So that is a pro-only feature. So this is for Elementor Pro users. So be sure and check that link and see what kind of price you can get for Elementor Pro. All right, guys, let's jump into it. So for those that are subscribed to me, probably have seen my other video that I posted a few months ago talking about that this multi-step form was in the works and being developed. So this is actually now developed. It's in a beta release. I'm going to go ahead and show you how it works and kind of what multi-step forms are. So essentially multi-step forms are when you need to collect a large amount of data from your user, and you basically break it up into steps, and they have like next and previous buttons as opposed to just one submit button at the end of a long form. So it takes up less space, and it just kind of, you can cycle step by step, and it kind of guides the user so they kind of have an understanding or kind of an idea of how long this whole form process might take, and it also kind of encourages them as they progress through the whole form. So based on all of those upsides to multi-step forms, honestly, your user is probably going to be more likely to fill out the form. So we're just going to jump right into my computer and get working on a multi-step form. And just before we get in, I do want to say, if you guys haven't subscribed to my channel, be sure and smash that nice looking red subscribe button. We're growing the family nice and big here. And if you want to check out other videos on my channel, I certainly have a ton of videos all about Elementor, Elementor Pro, and all of the features involved. So be sure and check those out and subscribe. Let's jump into the computer. Alright guys, here we are on my computer, and I'm excited to go ahead and show you how to actually build out these multi-step forms. So the first things first, we're going to go ahead and just create a new page. So we're going to go over here to Pages, hover over and hit Add New. Again, I'm already logged in here in my WordPress dashboard, and if we just go ahead and exit this and hit Edit with Elementor, we can go ahead and just start editing straight with the Elementor page designer. So I'm assuming you've already set up Elementor, you got Elementor Pro installed. Like I said, this is a beta version currently, so if you're not set up as a beta tester, you won't have access to this quite yet, but it is coming very, very soon. So be sure and check back as soon as there's an update for Elementor Pro and go ahead and get that installed. But as of right now, it is just for those Elementor Pro beta testers. So that's how I'm going to go ahead and show you how I get this to work. But I just wanted to give you this tutorial even before the feature comes out so you have access to it. So all we're going to do is go ahead and just jump right in and grab a form. So we can just right up here, we can search for form. We can go ahead and just drag this in right here. And this is just our basic form. Now, before multi-step forms, this is kind of just the typical form that we could design using Elementor, was just simply adding fields of data to be collected and then just one simple submit button. So what we're going to do here is actually just super easy, and it's honestly, they've done a great job of allowing you to design these multi-step forms in a very easy fashion. So what we're going to do is, the first thing that I like to do is actually go ahead and edit the submit button first and make that, kind of tailor that to exactly what we need for the form. So for this example, what we're going to do is just collect some different information. We're going to collect some just basic information about the user. We'll collect some contact information. We'll collect a message, and we'll collect a start and end date. Let's say, you know, that they're applying to be like a contractor for us or something like that. We need to know their availability. We need to know, you know, information about them, as well as, you know, I don't know, some contact information, and any kind of message that they need to send us about, you know, maybe the work that they do or something like that. It's just an example for this tutorial, but I'll go ahead and show you how that is done here. All right, so first things first, go ahead and edit that submit button. We're going to go over to here to buttons, and then we're going to go down to where it says submit button, and we need this to say something different than send. I don't really like the send button. I would rather say submit. I think we'll just go with submit. So we'll just put submit, and then we're going to go ahead and alter this icon as well. Currently it's set to a star. We're going to go ahead and change that. Now to go ahead and actually change this, we're going to go ahead and click on this icon library here, and we'll go ahead and just choose from any of these icons here. For this example, we'll just go with maybe a basic like check mark. Yeah, this one right here, just the check looks good. And yeah, submit, there's the check mark. That looks pretty good. So once we have our submit button, the text designed or set up how we would like it, and the icon set up how we would like it, we can go ahead and start designing the form. So like I said, we're going to go first and collect some basic information about them. So let's go ahead and just jump right in. We can go back to form fields here. We can go into name here. Let's actually just clear these steps out. So we'll just start fresh here. So we have just basic, message here. We'll go ahead and change this. We want to change the type to text, and we want the label to say first name, and the placeholder, we don't even need a placeholder actually. Let's go ahead and duplicate this. So we now have a second one, and we'll name this one last name. Now, what we're going to do to actually get them on the same line is go ahead and adjust the column width to 50% here, and the column width of the first name to 50% as well. And now you can see they moved up and they're now on the same line. There's two fields next to each other. We don't need the message here. We can go ahead and let's actually just change this to a where is it? Date here. Perfect, a date, and we'll change this to maybe birthday. Maybe if we need this information from them or something like that, we can go ahead and set that there. Birthday, and then let's go ahead and just set up some required fields. The first name is required, obviously. Last name as well is required. Birthday is also required. You can set up like minimum dates or maximum dates if you need to do that right there. But this is good for our first step. So this is our first step, and this first step is going to be just about them, like their basic information. So we're going to go ahead and hit add item here, and this is how you set up the actual steps. It was a little tricky for me to find at first and like understand how to actually set up these steps, but what you're going to need to do is hit add item. You're going to change the type to step, and from there you can instantly see like something changed here. Now we have this little thing up here that was glowing white, as well as this item 5 now has different options here. So up here, item 1 is actually going to be now the first step. So imagine these little step items as kind of like dividers. So there's the divider, then there's the first name, last name, birthday, and then another divider, or meaning that whole first step is done and we're starting second step, and then we'll just put items down below the second step. So they're basically just like dividers. So let's go back up out. Now we don't even need to design this one yet. First we can go up to item number 1 and design this here. And label, we will just put about you. We'll just put something like that, about you. And this is basically, now we have designed our first step label. So now if you need special like previous buttons or next buttons, for me I don't need anything like that. And you can adjust the icon also, and I'll show you actually what that means. But basically this step has an icon assigned to it. Again, just for the tutorial's sake, we'll add this icon, but I just am going to go here with a smile. Just it's the about you info. So you can see nothing really changed, nothing was adjusted, but I will show you where that actually takes place, how that is affected later on. So we can go ahead and set up that icon, and that is specific for the first step. So let's go ahead and continue on, and now we're on to step 2. We can actually change this label to contact info, and you'll see as I'm doing this over here on the right hand side, you can actually see that this info is being populated right there. Again, we can set up information and previous button and next button labels, as well as an icon. Maybe we'll just go with like again, I'll switch it to all icons here. Maybe we'll just put like clipboard. This one looks okay. This will just kind of be some contact info. Sure. We'll add the information that needs to be collected for step 2, and then we'll add a third step there. So let's go ahead and add an item here. We'll add in, what information will we need? Maybe an email address. So we'll go ahead and change this type to email and put it to email, and then we will change this to 50%. So again, we're splitting the 2 columns, and we have one over here, one over here. The other column that we'll use is, we'll just duplicate this. We'll change it to the TEL, that's telephone, and we'll just change this to phone. So again, you can't see it here, and I'm sure there is some way to preview it, but as of right now, I can't really figure out how to actually preview that. But based on just kind of how we are built the previous step, we can kind of just go ahead and add that stuff to it. So add these form fields, as well as you can always go ahead and publish it, preview it, and test your form and kind of see how it's being built out. But as of right now, I know how to do this. I've built lots of forms with Elementor, so it's just kind of easy to go ahead and do that. Let's go back. We need email to be required here, so we're going to go ahead and turn that on to required, as well as the phone number will require that as well. So let's go ahead and just add our third step here. We'll go ahead and hit add item, go down to type, scroll down to step, and then the label we will put in, let's just put in message. Perfect. Previous button, next button, we don't need to worry about that. Icon library, let's go ahead and just add maybe an envelope here. Envelope, perfect, just like that is good. And then let's go ahead and keep going on. Now in our third item, we just need maybe just one basic field. It'll just be a text area for a nice big message, and we'll just put in message there. We don't even need to make this required, let's say, because we don't really need a message from them. It's just optional if they want to include stuff. And then we'll go on to our fourth step. We'll hit add item here. We'll go to steps. So hopefully you guys can see that this is just kind of, you know, just a few steps and then repeat it, and then a few steps and repeat. And then we're just basically, you know, going through, and it's just, you make your first step and add all the fields, and then go ahead and just continue on and make the next step. And it's just the same process over and over, as many steps as you need for this multi-step form. So for the last one, we'll put maybe just dates or something like that, so they know, you know, their availability or something like that. So here for icon, we'll go ahead and add maybe a calendar. We'll switch over to all icons, calendar right there. Let's just add this one right here. Perfect. So we'll add the calendar, and then no previous button, next button, that's fine. We don't need to worry about that. We'll go ahead and add an item. We need 2 dates, so we'll just add a first date, and we'll just put start date. We need this required, and then we'll go ahead and change the column width again to 50%, and then add another item. Actually, we'll just go ahead and duplicate this right here. Go ahead and go over to start date, change it to end date. Again, if you need like specifics, maybe minimum date, maximum date, you need it in a range of dates or anything like that, you can certainly go ahead and do that. But yeah, we are pretty much done with our form, which is super awesome. It was just that easy. So let's go ahead and hit publish. We'll hit view, preview changes right here, have a look, and let's see what this actual form looks like. So here we are on our new page here with the form here, and you can see right off the bat, it looks very clean. You can see the 4 steps, you can see the titles, and these titles are referring to the labels that we put on the actual steps. And then we can go ahead and just start filling this out right here. All right, so I filled out this form right here. Let's just go ahead and hit next, and you can see now a few things have happened here. We now have, instead of a next button, it is now split into 2 buttons. We have a previous button, which we can go back to, or a next button, which we can advance to the next step. And then we have also the step that we have completed is now fully filled in orange. And I'll show you actually how you can adjust that and kind of set that up as to be designed as you would like. But now we can see that the second step, which we're on, is now just an open circle orange, and then the other 2 steps are still set to just a open circle black. So we have these here, and you can see these are required. So when we try and hit next, it says please fill out this field. So let's go ahead and just put an email address in. All right, so I've gone ahead and just filled in some default information here. So we have the email address and the phone number. We'll just go ahead and hit next. And then we have the message here. We can go ahead and just type in, this is message, and then we'll hit next. And you can see now that we've moved on to the last step of the form, the next button has now been altered and changed into our submit button. So now we can see that this submit button is going to actually submit our form. So let's go ahead and just pick some dates. And yeah, we would just pick some dates here. And there we go, we can hit submit, and this will actually submit our form. So now, this is how multi-step forms work. Now, just a few other things that I want to talk about here that are also part of the multi-step process is if you scroll down, you can actually go down to step settings, and this is under content, still under editing the form here. You can change the type from number and text to none, meaning it's just going to be, there's no like orientation, no like guidance at the top. It's just a basic form with a next button. You can change it to just text, so you can see now here are the labels that we set up for each step. You can change it to icon, and this is where the icons actually come into play. Now you can see here it's a little smiley face, a little clipboard for their contact information, a little envelope for their message, and the date for their that just kind of helps guide them based on icons. If you don't want to do that, you can also switch to icon and text, and this will kind of give them like, oh, this is what the icon relates to. So here's the label, here's the icon, this is kind of what the step is like. So that's nice. I honestly just prefer number and text. The other options you have are numbers, so no text on it, just simply numbers. You have a progress bar as well. This might be something that people would be actually interested in. It's kind of nice, and I noticed that if you go over here and go to style, you can adjust all of these, each one of these individually, depending on which one you select. So let's go ahead and select progress bar. We go over to style. And if we go ahead and close the form and go over to steps, now we can actually adjust stuff such as like the border radius. Hey, somebody just subscribed to my YouTube channel. Did you hear that little notification? Thank you guys. Be sure and smash that nice looking red subscribe button. If we adjust the border radius here, you can actually see that these corners are now rounded, as opposed to being kind of square and blocky. So that's really nice. You can do that. You can adjust the height of it. So each step, if we go back here and change this, let me show you here. It does, I noticed it is a little bit slow. Maybe that just is the beta version, but if we go back to step settings here and change this, each one of these has its own set of settings. So let's go ahead and switch it back to number and text. And then let's go back over to style and go back over to steps here. Now you can see that they're different now. The settings that we just adjusted for the progress bar are gone, and we're now replaced with these settings. So now we can adjust things such as the padding in between the number and the edge of the circle. You can adjust the spacing of how far the form is down below. You can adjust the divider width, meaning this little line here. You can adjust how thick it is right there. There's a lot of different stuff you can adjust here. One thing that I do like to adjust here, maybe possibly if you haven't set up your theme settings or your default colors and stuff like that, is right over here it's set to inactive. This means when you're not using the steps. So if they're on step 1, step 2, 3, and 4 are currently inactive. Active meaning that you're currently on the steps. So right now we're currently on step 1. Completed means you've completed that step. So this is where you would fill all of that in. By default, I think I showed you the active was set to an open circle with orange right there, like that. An inactive was set to an open circle with black, like that. And a completed was set to a filled in circle with a white number in there, like that. So you can go ahead and adjust all of that right here with your primary colors, your secondary colors, and adjust anything you need right there and get it designed. But guys, that is pretty much multi-step forms in a nutshell of, just how you would use them, why you would use them. I really honestly think they're going to convert better than just long forms. So definitely check these out. And last but not least, whenever creating a form, you want to make sure your actions after submit are set up. So whether that's send an email to yourself with all the information, whether that's add in MailChimp, such as like your email marketing software, so you can actually collect the information and send it over there. Whether you're starting a drip or redirecting to some certain page or anything like that, make sure and set that up always when creating a form. Guys, if you have any questions, be sure and drop those down below in the comments. I would love to try and take, a minute and see if I can help you out in some way. Like I said, I just received an email this morning letting me know that this beta release was launched. So I didn't even know, I literally jumped into it, a few minutes before making this video and learned it as best I could to go ahead and be able to teach you guys. So it's probably not a perfect tutorial, but I think we have, a large percentage of the capability of multi-step forms covered in this video. So again, I think multi-step forms are going to convert at a very high rate, so be sure and implement them, especially if you're collecting large amounts of data. I think this is just going to only improve conversions for you. All right, guys, thanks. All right, guys, that about does it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you haven't smashed that nice red looking subscribe button yet, be sure and do that right now. Hit that nice red looking subscribe button. It would really help me, and you can join the family and see other Elementor videos just like this one. Thank you guys. Be sure and drop a like if you learned anything, if you thought this video was helpful. It helps this video kind of get boosted in the YouTube algorithm, so thank you for that. And lastly, check out the links down below in the description. Be sure and get your hands on Elementor Pro, as well as there's some other cool links, like if you want a free stock, like a free share in a company or something like that. Check out the other links down below as well. So thank you guys so much, and have a great day.